Well, one secret to weight loss could be as simple as saying no the next time you're at a cash register.
Scientists say the plastics in receipts, bottles, and even cars could be making all of us fat. Maria Medina with the skinny on what could be called the plastic diet.
At 240 pounds, Laura Newman was a far cry from the bride who walked down the aisle. Once a size 10, she'd grown to a size 20.
And the more you hate yourself, the more you eat. The more you feel trapped, the more helpless and hopeless.
Then Laura says she stopped feeling sorry for herself. She got on a weight loss program and then started coming here to Gibson Ranch, where she went on walks and then eventually started running.
Laura quickly shed 80 pounds, but then a few months into her diet and exercise routine, Laura noticed no matter how much she pushed, her body stopped responding.
I'd plateaued.
As part of her weight loss program, Laura kept a journal of everything she ate and how it made her feel afterward. And that's where she thought she may have found what was keeping her from losing any more weight. And it wasn't food.
I realized, wait a minute, you're ingesting quantities of this stuff all the time.
The bagged vegetables, the canned tuna, and even the sports drinks exposed her to one common ingredient, plastic. And when she decided to cut plastics out of her diet, she says the changes were dramatic.
I lost about 40 pounds in the blink of an eye.
One of the things that scientists are really interested in looking at right now.
UC Berkeley professor of public health Kim Harley is familiar with the theory that plastics may play a role in our country's obesity crisis.
We really need to look to see whether what we're seeing in rats is also happening in humans.
Research already shows pregnant mice exposed to plastics made with BPA, short for bisphenol A, give birth to mice that become overweight later in life.
BPA is one of the largest production volume chemicals in the world. This is a chemical that's used in a lot of things. BPA comes from the linings of cans, plastic food containers, water bottles, and it comes from receipts that you get at the store.
In fact, BPA is known as an obesogen, a term coined by a UC Irvine professor, looking into whether industrial pollutants like BPA leach into foods, slow metabolism, and cause fat cells to multiply.
There's a pretty compelling theory that exposure to some of these chemicals in utero may actually have long-term health effects that we may not see until adulthood.
While scientists research that theory, they do agree we should avoid certain plastics more than others. Which ones? Well, the answer is in the number inside that triangle you'll find on plastics. They range from 1 to 7, 7 being the worst, with those plastics made with BPA.
Studies have shown that BPA leaches out of plastic water bottles, even using cold liquids.
I pretty much eliminated most of that stuff out of my life.
But Laura says she doesn't need a scientist to convince her cutting plastics brought her down to a size 4.
My guess is that it is like carcinogens. Not every person who smokes 2 packs a day ends up with cancer. Some of that's genetics.
Nearly 2 years after that first walk at Gibson Ranch, Laura took on a 100K race and crossed the finish line.
I feel better now than I did as a teenager.
And so while the studies are not yet conclusive, scientists say the evidence is very strong that those chemicals are affecting our long-term weight gain.
That is fascinating. So why not ban those chemicals outright?
Well, what's interesting is that the FDA actually banned BPA in baby bottles and children's drinking cups, but there's no law that limits the amount of chemicals to make plastics. But here in California, there is a law that lets the state lab and its scientists monitor what kind of chemicals we're exposed to. So who knows, maybe we'll get some answers soon.
With more research.
More research.
Okay, interesting report, Maria. Thanks so much.